What's up and welcome to the Believe in Hornets podcast on the Believe Podcast Network presented by Bet Online. Happy New Year to everyone out there. My name is Sam Dracula. With me is Raymond Felton. Raymond, how you doing?
I'm good. It's New Year, new things.
Yes, sir. Same old Hornets, unfortunately, but everything else it's been pretty good, pretty well. Hornets 10-29. We're recording this on a Thursday morning, right after the Hornets played the Grizzlies last night. We're going to talk about that game here in this episode. We have some injury news, some good news, and some bad news to talk about with this squad. And, you know, how things go from here for this franchise. I also want to talk. We're also going to talk Donovan Mitchell. I want to talk Donovan Mitchell as well. This episode, okay. We're going to highlight some good stuff around the league as well. So we'll get right into that right after this break. The NBA season is rolling on, and BetOnline remains your number one source for all your sports betting needs this season. You'll always find the latest odds, team matchup information, player news, game trends at BetOnline. And as your continued source for all your sports wagering information, BetOnline features live betting, free contests, and giveaways all season long. Always the fastest and easiest way to bet all your favorite sports and events, whether that's football, basketball, hockey, MMA, tennis, boxing, even golf. Head to betonline.ag to join and receive your 50% welcome bonus with your first deposit. Make sure to use the promo code BELIEVE, B-L-E-A-V, BELIEVE, to receive your rewards. Bet online, where the game starts. All right, Raymond. So just to set the scene here, Hornets are 10-29, last in the East, last in the league, best odds at Wembanyama. They're 3-7 in their last 10 games. Since we last recorded, they beat OKC, who then went on to just blow out the Celtics without SGA. Like, that Thunder team is wild. Like, I have no idea what to expect from that Thunder team. But yeah, the Hornets are coming off a 24-point loss to the Memphis Grizzlies last night. On the positive side of things, Lamelo reached 1,000 assists. He's the fourth youngest player ever to do that. So, you know, that's good. Mm-hmm. We saw the return of Dennis Smith Jr. a couple games ago. Cody Martin is now back. He played up until last night. He played 1 minute, like legit, like 56 seconds. And so this is the first like real game of the season last night. Good to see him back. But on the flip side, the Hornets just trading bodies basically on the injury report. They get Cody Martin back. They get Dennis Smith Jr. back. They lost Gordon Hayward to a hamstring injury. And then Kelly Oubre out 4 to 6 weeks with a torn ligament in his shooting hand. So there's a lot going on there. Let's start with the positive stuff. Lamelo getting 1,000 assists, fourth youngest player ever to do it. It was a good one, you know. Driving to the lane, dipping out, swinging it to Jalen McDaniels. Jalen McDaniels hitting an open three. What do you make of this accomplishment for Lamelo in his third season?
Oh, this kid got a bright future. You know, he's going to be in the league for a very long time, as long as he continues to get better and progress. But he has the skill set. You know, he's a 6'7" point guard. You know, he's still young because he can possibly get taller. That's what's scary. But he has all the tools. You know, he's a great guy to build your team around, your franchise, and you know, hopefully that, you know, some changes can be made to kind of, you know, build around him, get him some help. You have the pieces of some older guys that you can kind of move and, you know, bring some young guys in or get some draft picks, whatever they need to do just to go ahead and start that rebuilding stage, because there's certain guys on there that don't need to be there, needs to be on playoff type teams. And if you got some young guys, go ahead and start playing them, you know, so they can get that chemistry. And like I said, I told you from the start of the year, you know, Miles Bridges was going to be a big missing piece. And you can see that, you know. So the guys that had to step up in that position to try to fulfill it, and it wasn't the same. That's all I'm going to say. Mm-hmm. It wasn't the same. So who knows? We'll see what happens. But other than Lamelo has a bright future, you know, and congratulations to him, you know, to get into 1,000 assists already this fast. That's amazing. Great accomplishment.
And it's wild because he had a major injury his rookie year, and then this season, this is only his 14th game of the year. And so, his pace is a little off, but I'm sure he'll make it up in due time with those numbers. But yeah, man, you mentioned Bridges. Bridges best. He did a lot of great things on the court. Well, like one of the most underrated things I think he did was be healthy. Even when 2 seasons ago, when everyone was going down, the only thing that took him off the court was health and safety protocols. Like he was the team's Iron Man. And when you have these injury issues, you have like up until Oubre got hurt, he was the Iron Man on the team. Him and Plumlee were only guys who didn't miss games, and now it's like Plumlee's last man standing on that front. So we got right now Dennis Smith Jr. back, which is great to see. Hornets desperately need some defensive help. Cody Martin returning. Along with that, we'll add to that. Last night, not a great example of defense being played by the Hornets. A lot went wrong for that team. It was a brutal game. For those that don't know, I live stream during Hornets games, and I have a rule that if the Hornets are down 30 going into the fourth quarter, I end the stream early. They were down 29, but I was like, I'm done. Like I couldn't do it. I couldn't stream that last fourth quarter. It was a tough watch. And it's a Memphis Grizzlies again. Like it's the only time I've done that against this Grizzlies team. And let me back up a little bit. Gordon Hayward and Kelly Oubre officially out. Well, sorry, Oubre out 4 to 6 weeks. Gordon Hayward is like touch and go. It doesn't seem too serious, his hamstring injury, but another injury for Gordon. And Oubre on the shooting hand, no less, which is going to take him right up until the trade deadline-ish. So we'll see how that plays out. I don't think that will impact if he's traded or not, because he will be back. But I don't know. What do you make of the Oubre injury, for instance? Because he's one of those guys, like you mentioned, that he doesn't need to be on this team. I'll be shocked if he returns next year. Right, he's an unrestricted free agent. I'm sure he wants to be in a better situation. Him and Plumlee are in the same boat, in my opinion. And so if you're the Hornets and you have Oubre, who is hurt now, but like I think you have to move him because you're gonna get nothing for him if you keep him, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, guys like that, you gotta even try to do something to package Gordon Hayward.
Yeah.
I mean, she's still a person that a playoff type team can use. He has been injury prone. I don't know what's that about. He used to be a pretty tough kid, but it seems like every little thing that goes on with him now, he's out 2 weeks. So I don't know. Things are just different now, man. I just see a lot of different stuff going on. Rest. I see guys resting. I see guys, got a toe issue and they out for, months. I've seen guys have I don't know. It's just things that we played through. Like turf toe, we put metal plates in our shoe and play through it. Maybe that's why guys that's older than me and some guys that play with me, they have to have surgeries and stuff after we get done playing basketball. maybe that's the reason. It could be some science to that. So but I don't know, man. I think now, I'm not going to say we was tougher, and I'm not going to say we was more talented, because obviously the game changes, the game evolves, and, the game gets better. And that's what we wanted to do. I'm never going to be one of those older guys who we was better than these young guys and this and that. It's not about being better. It's about changing, evolving. It's about, things getting better. And I think the one thing they do now is they do a better job of taking care of these guys' bodies. But it has to be some type of accountability as well, too, to make these guys be tougher and play through certain things. Because there's some things that's like, come on now. Like you see some injury reports and I'll be like, come on, are you serious right now?
Yeah.
And I'm not going to speak on it like anything, just call it out. But, we all know that we see some of these injury reports and we be like, come on, dude. Like, come on, you can play tonight. You know what I'm saying? So, but I think some of that needs to change. But outside of that, you definitely have to take care of these guys' body just from the past history of seeing, these older guys having to have surgery, hip surgery, ankle surgery, knee surgery, all kind of surgeries once they get done playing because they ran their bodies through the mud, but I don't know, man. When it comes to him, when it comes to Kelly Oubre. When it comes to him,
Hayward.
Plumlee and Hayward,
Yeah.
you kind of have to you gotta keep. To me, you gotta keep Terry. I love Terry. He's still young, and you know, you gotta keep a score. I mean, you gotta keep somebody that can get you a bucket when the game is on the line, and he's been that guy.
Yeah.
Been that guy more than Gordon Hayward, more than anybody you can think about.
Mm-hmm.
He's been that guy that can get you a bucket when the game was on the line. Like, he made that Lakers game a game down in the end of the stretch. Coming out hitting two big threes. So you got a guy that's fearless and can hit shots, and he's a good player. I think you gotta keep him, and he's still young. He's not one of those older guys. He's been around for a little bit, but he's not old. So I think he's still a good mix with those young guys. But the other three, you got to try to get some assets for them. You got to try to figure something out to either get some young guys in there or get some draft picks. Something has to happen. They gotta figure something out. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
But I'm not in the office, so I can't say I'm right. Well, but that's my opinion.
I'm curious, like when you noticed a shift in that injury player mentality. Because from when you came into the league in 2005, your last game was in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
When did you notice that happening, or was it too subtle when you were playing? Like, was there a definitive moment, like, oh, this team was really going in on load management or whatever?
See, that's the thing though. Like when towards the end of my career, I was seeing it, but I wasn't seeing it on the teams I was playing on.
Okay. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like I was playing
what your team is doing, and
I was playing with my last two seasons was with OKC, and my season before that. So my last 3 seasons was 1 year with the Clippers, and we was kind of like Charlotte. We was just injury prone. We had Blake out for a little bit. Then all of a sudden, CP went out for a little bit. Then just different guys was just having little small injuries. I had a shoulder injury for a little bit, but I played through it. Just different guys. Austin Rivers got hurt for a little bit. Who else? DeAndre Jordan, I think, got hurt for a few games. It was just we just had so many just on and off injuries, but guys still try to play through it if they could. You know what I'm saying? Or didn't try to stay out that long, other than CP and Blake. I think them two kind of stayed out for like a little period of time, but came back. And then OKC, man, like Russ was like Iron Man. Like Russ didn't sit out. Like, I've seen this guy be like, sore, hurting, but game time he ready to go. Like that's what I seen. Like, PG, like he don't get a lot of credit. I know he had been dealing with a lot of injuries here, but even when he was in OKC, like he had some of those injuries. He had some of those shoulder issues and stuff like that he had to deal with later on and end up having surgery, but played through them. Like, so I don't know. It's just different now to see some of the things that goes on now, that I wasn't accustomed to when I first came in, and even when towards the end when I was about to leave. But around the league, you can start seeing like, oh, this guy ain't playing tonight because he's resting. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, resting? Something I wasn't used to seeing. I'm like, rest. But whatever though.
Where do you stand on there was some just preliminary discussions about shortening the season. Where do you stand on that? Because I think it was Richard Jefferson. I don't want to quote the wrong person, but he's like, someone said it's supposed to be hard. Like, why are we trying to make it easier?
That's what I'm saying. Like baseball plays 161, 62 games. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, what we're shortening for? That's what it's known for. It's known, like, I think certain things you don't tamper with. I understand we got to get better and evolve, and you want to add things to it. You want to try to do things to make the game more exciting. I get that. You've done that. Like, you got guys scoring 70 points. You got guys scoring 60 points easily, 50-something points easily. Like, guys is putting up the amazing numbers nowadays. So the game is definitely getting better. The game is more exciting. But now you start tampering with just the culture of the game. 82 games. Why would you touch that? Like
Mhm.
that's set in stone. Like just leave the little things like that. I think they should never touch. Like you should leave that part alone.
Yeah.
Like doing the things they did about All-Star break, like those things are good.
Mm-hmm.
When you give guys time to get, even the guys who play in the All-Star game, give them that time to get time with their family, get a break. Then they go attend the weekend and kind of do all of that. That's how you like things like that. Those type of changes is good. But when you start tampering with other stuff, I think you just gotta live. You gotta let it. You gotta leave it alone.
Yeah, things like back-to-back road games in the city. Like for instance, the Hornets are going to be in Toronto for 2 games, right? On the 12th and the 14th, and then they come back home, and then Boston is here in Charlotte for 2 games in a row. Like those things cut down on travel. Like you can finesse it in a way, cut
That's
down on
good.
back-to-backs, like just without disrupting the
I
whole like
like that.
stat and like history of because how you going to compare eras when you have all right this from this point on they have 66 games compared to 82. Like I don't know. I'm cool with 82 as is, and then what they're doing currently with the schedule, I think does a lot of work. But again, it's a moving target.
Yeah,
They'll
but
tweak it as they need to, but keep the
yeah,
82 games.
keep 82. But I like that back-to-back games. Like it gives you an early feel of what you can deal with in the playoffs.
Yep,
You know what I'm saying? Like
it's like a
it
mini
gives
series.
you,
I like it. It's like baseball.
yeah, yeah. So I'm saying I like that. I like that idea. I like that. That's been good this year. I know it's been different. People ain't used to it, but it's been good. I kind of like that because it makes that second game tough for the home team. Because now you don't have that home court advantage no more.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like you still at home. Don't get me wrong, but it's kind of like in the playoffs where you play that first game, but now I'm here in your city. I'm relaxing. I'm getting to bed at the right time. I ain't traveling in on no plane. You know, it's like so. It's kind of like being at home in a sense still.
Mm-hmm.
With no travel, no wear and tear. So, but yeah.
No, I like it. I like it. So going back to last night, okay. First things first. Dillon Brooks. Did you play against Dillon Brooks?
Yeah.
I know he's in the league. You're in the league at the same time. All right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this with the utmost respect. Okay. Dillon Brooks is a dick. All right, and I mean this in the best way possible. Like, stay with me. He's a top tier instigator. I don't know if he was like that when he first came into the league, but on 3 separate occasions he drew texts from the Hornets from just getting in these guys' heads. They're getting caught out. At one point, DSJ was staring at him. He refused to break eye contact with Dillon Brooks. Just on a simple inbound. It had nothing to do with anything. He was just staring at him. Brooks was looking away. DSJ's in his staring daggers. And then a few minutes later, Brooks is on the floor and DSJ standing over him, and he gets technical out of it for his effort. So top tier instigator, and I think he has the most technicals in the league on his end as well. But what do you make of Dillon Brooks? I honestly don't watch a ton of Grizzlies, but whenever I do, he's always all right. He's always in the conversation whenever he's playing.
Right. He's one of those guys that you hate to play against, can't stand him, but you would love to have on your team.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because he's a pest. He talks shit. He's always in the mix of something. You know what I'm saying? I can't say he's dirty. I don't want to say that.
Right.
I don't want to say he's a dirty player. I just want to say he does some outrageous things sometimes, should I say. And I think sometimes he takes it too far. Like last year he kind of fouls. He fouls on what's his name too hard in the playoffs.
Yeah, Clay. Because that's where the broke the code thing came from, right? In the Golden
It was
State.
Clay. I thought it was on what you call it. What's his name? Gary Payton.
Oh, you're right. It was him.
And he ended up breaking his arm.
Yeah, that's right.
He ended up breaking his arm. So I think plays like that where I get who you are. I get who you gonna be every night. And that's why I have mixed feelings about it. Like a lot of people man, that's so dirty. That's Dillon Brooks. That's who he is. That's what he do all season. He do it every game. So I can't sit here and say this man is dirty because he's consistent. He does it every night. Like he play hard. He gonna foul you. He gonna do little chippy stuff like that to mess with you to get in your head. So I think he takes plays too far sometimes. I think he takes who he is and who he's trying to put on to be on the court. I think he takes it a little too far in situations like that. Nobody wants to see nobody get hurt. And deep down, I don't think he really wants to hurt nobody either. I think he's trying to make a point. Like I'm here. I'm the tough guy on this team.
Yeah.
I'm the guy that's gonna be in your face, in your head, in your ass the whole game. Like I think he's that type of player. But to call him dirty, I didn't play against him enough to make that kind of assumption. But he has done some shit where I'm like, dude, if I was on that team playing me, you probably been squared up.
Yeah.
We been squared up. I don't got in some trouble. We've been got in a fight, something because my teammate going down for a layup and you foul him that hard that he breaks his arm. Like we got a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's probably gonna be a suspension coming after that.
Yeah. No, I mean, also at one point last night, Brooks was picking up Lamelo off full court basically, and even before the ball was inbounded, he was like he had his arms wrapped around Lamelo's arms, and Oubre at one point during the dead ball was like on the court talking to the ref, was like, "Hey man, like, do you not see this?" And also, shouts to Oubre for stepping up, even though he's on the shelf right now in street clothes. He's like, yeah, I can't, real ref. You do not see what Dillon Brooks is doing right now to Lamelo Ball. Similarly, just keeping it on dick behavior for a second here. Ja Morant, Lamelo makes a triple, and then Ja Morant sits on the ball for 30 seconds before Terry Rozier comes up. The clock is running. The Hornets bench is freaking out. The Hornets on the court aren't doing anything. Morant's just standing there. What do you make of that? Have you seen that before? And what went through your mind when you saw that?
I've seen guys hold the ball like that, but just trying to figure out kind of what they're about to do and trying to get like a quick shot up.
Yeah.
Like I didn't see it where it was still like 3 minutes.
It was like 3:40 left in the third quarter.
Like it was like so, when you look at the time and the situation, you like, why did he do this? Like he had no reason to do this. And the only thing you can say is like he just didn't have no respect. He didn't have no respect for them guys. And I think, as a coach, I'm not showing nothing else. I'm not showing a game. I'm not showing nothing. I'm gonna say this is where y'all at right now.
Like if you're Clifford, you're showing that in the locker room.
That's it. Yeah. That's the only play I'm showing. I'm not showing I'm not even showing the game. I don't even want to look at the game. This is where we at right now. This is the respect level that we have in this league. When you get a player do this to us, this is the respect. So what we gonna do about it? We could come in all day, drill. We're gonna get better. We're gonna practice. I'm gonna do my job. But at some point, y'all gotta stop getting hit. Y'all gotta stop like getting punched first and not punching back. It has to start being a situation like that, because for a guy to do something like that and not get a hard foul, you got to take a foul for that.
Yeah.
Like when he drove the ball down the court, like it's just a straight foul. Like I'm not even nothing. And I'm getting close to him and I'm telling him, like, bro, like, don't do that no more. Like you gotta have some heart about you. It ain't about trying to fight. It's just about like, bro, don't, like, we NBA players just like you. So I don't know. Like I said, things are different. Things are a whole lot different now, man. I'm serious, bro.
Yeah. Like
when I came in the league, bro, guys weren't having that. Like you do something like that, man. You drive to the basket if you want to. Mm-hmm. Drive to that basket. Ja love to drive and jump up in the air. And man, listen, man, them dudes knocking you out the air. They hitting you. Yeah. So things are just different now, man. It's a whole lot different. It's a whole lot different.
And so, salute for Terry for getting after the ball eventually, right? He went up court and he paid the price for it. Ran into Steven Adams' screen, which certainly could not have felt good. It looked like I got hurt watching it. You play with Steven Adams, like what's it like running into a Steven Adams screen?
Like a brick wall. Like a brick wall. That's one strong dude, man. Yeah. Probably pound for pound, strongest dude in the league, easily. Yeah, man. Probably the strongest. Forget pound for pound, the strongest dude in the league. I don't think there's nobody stronger than him, for real.
Yeah, at one point he ran into the stanchion, and that thing shook. Like I've never seen it shake before. I think the stanchion got put on the injury report after that. And yeah, so it was like that play, that Ja Morant play, I think is gonna stay as a fan. It's gonna stick with me because you had Morant doing what he did. The Hornets not fighting for the ball until the 28-second mark. You had the Hornets get called for a delay of game warning after that, which is so ironic. I know what Morant did was within the rules of the game, which is fine. Now, no beat, like, from a rule point of view, it makes sense, right? But for the Hornets to get called with that after knocking the ball out of play, and then later getting penalized for it because Jalen McDaniels tried to steal the ball while he was out of bounds, and he got called for a delay game, and the guy that gave up a free throw out of nowhere. It's like, bro, like, what's going on with this team? And when the season's over with, I'm going to think back to this Memphis game last night. Like, okay, this is the Hornets. This is the 22-20-23 Hornets in a nutshell. Unless something drastically changes, I think that kind of encapsulates what's going on with this franchise right now. I was going to say for better, for worse, but it's just for worse. 10 wins on the season. We'll see how it goes from here. But for the Hornets, you got the Bucks on Friday, Pacers Sunday, Raptors Tuesday, Thursday, and then Boston on the 14th and 16th. So no easy wins in sight for the Hornets, but you never know, you know? Never know.
Yeah.
Never know what can happen on a nightly basis in the NBA.
That is true.
And speaking of that, this is why I get the big bucks. Never know what's going to happen. Donovan Mitchell, 71 points.
Man.
And the league tried to take one away from him. You know, I mean, they said that, you know, it was a lane violation, whatever, but it counts. It counts. 71 points, not since Devin Booker's 70 points and not since Kobe's 81. We've seen something like this. Mitchell getting 71 on 34 shots is crazy because Booker took 40 shots to get 70. And the Cavs needed every single one of them. And the league got him with a drug test right after
that drug test. Man. Knew that was coming.
Yeah. Understandably, you know, game's the game. But yeah, so talk to me about Donovan Mitchell. Like, what do you think of his performance and that and where that kind of ranks as far as like scoring efforts in the league?
Hey man, he went from Luka having 60, 20, and 10 to Donovan Mitchell having 71. Like, I don't know, man. This league is just crazy. It's like one record after another. You know, one guy comes out, put a big time performance like that, and you know, that's the talk of the league. Then boom, Donovan Mitchell comes up with 71 points, and everybody's forgotten about that 60, 20, 10, just like that, you know, with him scoring that 71 points and as efficient as he was too. You know, if you look at his shooting, like he shot the ball extremely well. Yep. Like, you know, with the last few points he had was like straight threes. He hit about 4 or 5 threes in a row going into that. I think it was in overtime when he hit about 5 threes in a row. So, I mean, looking at a guy that, you know, who me puts in the work. He works hard. He's a gym rat. You know, he plays hard. He plays with a certain passion, and he looks like he's found his niche and he's happy again in a new situation with some younger guys, some young, very talented guys with Darius Garland and, you know, Mobley. You got Jerry Allen. You know, you got so many guys over there that, you know, that this team is going to be scary. You know, you keep these young guys together, you know, this is going to be one of the teams that you're going to have to battle with in this Eastern Conference every year. Mm-hmm. But historical night, man. You know, have 71 points as a player is such a great accomplishment with the win on top of it.
Yep.
And the way you won, you know, kind of just puts it all in his own category. So shout out to Donovan Mitchell for that. And just shout out to just the whole league this year with these guys just scoring the ball at such a high clip at a high level. I'm going to note one thing that I don't know if nobody's really paying attention to it, even thought about it, but my man over there in Milwaukee has been killing lately. I don't know if everybody's paying attention to his numbers, but the last 4 games, Giannis has had 20 boards or more with about 40, 30. He's had over 30 every time with these 20 boards. And he's been doing that for like 4 or 5 games straight. That ain't easy to do, to have the points that he has and just what he has to do with that team and still having 20 boards just about every game. Like I've seen him in the stat line with 20 boards and 35, 40-something, 49, like 50-something, 20. Like, this man been putting up numbers, man.
Yeah.
And that's what's crazy to me. Like if this was 5 years ago, people would have been like, oh, my God, what the – Giannis is going crazy. Mm-hmm. but 50 and 20 is like normal.
Yeah.
Like, nobody's even saying nothing about it. That's what's crazy. Like you got to have 60 points and 40 rebounds or something, or 70 something, 80 points. So somebody to be like, oh my goodness, look, you see that performance? It's wild, man.
Yeah,
Like I said,
like Embiid put up 42 and 11 the other night. Like no one cares. You know what I mean? This is regular.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It's like, well, that's normal. That's a normal night. 40 is like the new 20. It's crazy, man. But nah, that's how the game is changing. That's how it is. These boys are scoring this ball at a high clip. Kevin Durant had 44 last night. Nobody says nothing about it. I know they lost. It stopped they 12. It was at 12 games in a row. Stopped their streak, but he still had 44, and that was with 39 going into the fourth.
Yeah. Well, that was a crazy thing about Mitchell. He had like 15 in the first half or something like that. Ended up with 71.
That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. It's a lot of scoring in that second half.
But yeah, I think that'll do it for this week's episode. One thing has nothing to do with the NBA. I just saw this on Twitter. DeMar Hamlin, the Buffalo Bills player. There's some good news. Neurologically intact. This is from Shams. He's showing extremely positive signs toward recovery from critical condition due to cardiac arrest. So it's moving in a good direction. So that's good news.
Yes. That's a blessing. That's a blessing. God is good for sure.
Yeah. So it's scary stuff. That stuff is horrifying. Like,
I didn't. Yeah, that I was gonna say something about it, but I just like trying to leave it alone. Just the simple fact that something like that is so scary, and I don't care what sport it is. Football, basketball, baseball, soccer, it don't even matter. Like, as an athlete, that's just not something you want to see. Somebody dying, like he died, like, and they had to revive this man back to life. It took them like 8-9 minutes to bring this man back, so to see something like that is something I've never seen in a game. Like I've seen bad injuries. I've seen guys pass out. I've seen guys get knocked out. Like I've seen a whole lot of stuff. But to see something like that, like, and not even be there, I can only imagine, what the Bengals players and what the Bills players felt, and just like, I don't know, man. It touched me in a different way. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad to hear that he's definitely doing better. He's coming out of that situation. I know his family is happy as well. I don't know if he got kids, but just being a father, man, like not being able, he's so young, not to being able to be there for his kids throughout their life, not having a dad, man, that would suck. So, I'm glad he's doing good. You know what I'm saying? So, everybody keep praying for him. Everybody keep their prayers up because it's working, and hopefully we'll see him, out of this hospital in the near future.
Yeah, and in last year in 2021, there's a soccer player who had cardiac arrest on the field. His name's Christian Eriksen. Had to be revived. It was a very similar situation where his teammates surrounded him as he's getting medical attention, and this is insane. They continued the game. Like they resumed this. He went down like during the first half, and they took care of him. And once they found out he was okay, they played the game like 4 or 5 hours later, whatever it was. Absolute insanity on that end, but. He's back. Like he played in the World Cup. He's playing for Manchester United. So there is hope. But step one is get out of the hospital and get right. So
figure out all that first. See what caused it. See what you can do to prevent it from happening again. And if you can get back out there and play, then great. Go get back out there and do something that you love to do. But if it's detrimental to your health and your life, I hate to see it. It's so early, so young. You might have to walk away from the game. It's not worth. It's not worth dying for, No. It's not worth dying for, so.
Yeah. All right. Well, best wishes to him. Thank you, everyone out there, for listening. We're in 2023, unbelievably. Onwards and upwards, right?
Yep.
Raymond, I appreciate you as always. Everyone listening, thank you so much. You've been listening to the Believe in Hornets podcast on the Believe Podcast Network, presented by Bet Online. See you next week.